IFS is known as a trauma healing model. But what if I told you that it's also the missing piece behind many of the patterns you can't seem to shake? Your procrastination, perfectionism, overfunctioning, self doubt. So this video isn't just about healing trauma, it's about reclaiming your wholeness in every aspect of your life so that you can lead with more clarity, compassion, and congruence. Internal family systems, or IFS, isn't just for healing trauma, but for everyday leadership, alignment, and self trust. I'm Andrea Tessier, Master Life Coach, IFS practitioner, and I help conscious leaders come home to themselves so they can lead their lives, businesses, teams, families, relationships, and organizations from clarity, compassion, and deep trust. So if you're tired of doing the work, but still getting hijacked by old patterns that you know don't serve you, you're in the right place. Subscribe for weekly IFS insights and videos that support you in leading from within. Internal family system is widely known as a trauma healing modality. And yes, it is powerful in that way. It is evidence-based. It's also been shown to support everything from PTSD to chronic conditions like rheumatoid arthritis. And it works because it treats people with deep compassion, not pathology. But what I want to talk about today goes well beyond trauma because IFS isn't just for people who've lived through big, overwhelming events. It's for anyone who has ever procrastinated on something they care about deeply. Anybody who's ever overfunctioned or people pleased in a relationship till they get to the point of exhaustion. For anyone who's torn themselves down with self-judgment or criticism because they didn't say the thing, or anyone who's gotten caught in the same inner loop over and over again. So if you've ever felt like I know better and I just can't shift, this is for you because IFS helps us not just understand those patterns, but actually shift them at the root. I want to start by honoring where IFS comes from. IFS was developed by Dr. Richard Schwartz originally as a way to support clients dealing with complex trauma and eating disorders. And it's been studied extensively and has shown measurable success in reducing symptoms of anxiety, depression, even physical conditions like rheumatoid. It's gentle, non-pathologizing, and incredibly respectful of a person's whole system. And for many people, myself included, it's the first healing modality that didn't try to fix or change me, but invited me into deeper relationship with myself. And yet, its impact goes so much deeper than symptom relief. But of course, it does that too. Here's what I really want to land that IFS is not just a therapy model, it is a life model because we all have parts. Whether or not you've experienced trauma, you have parts of you that try to manage your image, that try to protect you from disappointment, that try to control everything so nothing bad ever happens again. And if you're watching this and you have found me on this corner of the internet, you probably already know some of your patterns. You might know you have a perfectionist part or a part that freezes when you're about to be visible or a part that over delivers or over explains and then resents everyone for being too much. But here's the thing. Just understanding your patterns is not enough. You've probably read the books, listened to the podcast, done the mindset work, but IFS allows you to go deeper. It helps you meet with the part underneath the pattern, not from a place of fixing, not to banish it, but to actually listen with love and lead it. It is a proven way to inner peace, inner truth, and self-mastery. So let's get concrete now. Here are some everyday, very human patterns that IFS helps transform, and I have supported my clients to transform, blending internal family systems coaching and real world action. First, procrastination. On the surface, procrastination looks like laziness or poor time management. And it's so easy to get frustrated with yourself when you procrastinate. Underneath, there is a protector that is terrified of failing or of succeeding or of being judged. I worked with a client who knew she was ready to launch a really meaningful offer that had the potential to serve and help many. She had everything ready, videos recorded, workbook, a opt-in page, but she couldn't hit publish. So when we checked in, we met a teenage part who remembered being laughed at in school when she gave a presentation. This wasn't about laziness. This wasn't about discipline. She was loyal to that younger version of herself who never wanted to feel humiliated again. Another way that IFS can benefit is with self-judgment and inner criticism. We see these as the judger and the inner critic parts. This one's huge because so many people have a brutal inner critic, even though nobody has ever beaten themselves up into enlightenment. In IFS, we're not trying to silence the critic. We're not even trying to get rid of it. We're certainly not trying to change its mind. We are, though, getting curious about it. A client came to me once saying, "My critic is exhausting me." And when we got to know it, we discovered that it was trying to protect her from an external rejection by criticizing her before anyone else could. She experienced a ton of criticism growing up, and she learned that, well, if she just internalized the criticism first, she could get ahead of that pain. But when she started showing that part compassion and presence, it began to relax. And in its place, what was able to spontaneously come through was her natural curiosity, her confidence, and calm. Another benefit of internal family systems, a pattern that it shifts, is overfunctioning and striving. If you are someone who's always doing, always managing, always making sure everything is okay for everyone, this part over identified with reliability, it's likely a protector. One of my clients, a successful entrepreneur, said, "Look, I know how to create success, but I don't know how to feel safe without striving." And when we met the part of her that was always busy, we discovered this belief that if I'm not responsible and reliable for everyone, I'll lose everything. Once that part felt seen, supported, held in ways that it never really was, she could create a level of success from ease and not urgency that far exceeded the success she had with this part leading. And finally, the other part and pattern that internal family systems can benefit is the fear of being seen. This is one I see with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs and visionaries. You want to show up. You want to share your voice. You have something unique to say, but a part of you inside freezes or over edits or disappears or hits the thing and presses publish, but then goes into complete emotional dysregulation that you ghost your business for 3 weeks. Yeah. IFS helps you meet that part that's afraid. Maybe it's learned visibility wasn't safe. Maybe it carries a memory of being misunderstood and humiliated. When we bring a level of compassion, something beautiful happens. You don't have to push yourself to visibility. You simply become more available to show up as yourself. So IFS works because it doesn't try to manage or manipulate your inner world. It invites you into relationship with it. And leading from self energy, that calm, compassionate, connected energy within you, your parts start to relax. They start to trust that they are not alone anymore. And this is the root of true change that leads to self-mastery. Not because you forced yourself to be better, but because you listened deeply to the parts of you that never got to be. So how does this transition into real life, our relationships, our leadership, our health? What does this actually look like? So I want to go even deeper now because IFS just isn't about healing or managing your pattern. The reason that we want to manage our patterns is because we want to change the way we live and relate to life itself. One of the most life-changing things IFS has given me is the ability to see the parts in other people. So when a friend or partner pulls away or shuts down, there is enough self-energy in me to not take it as a personal rejection. I can see that protector part in the other person is online. And instead of needing to react, I get to pause and get curious. This doesn't mean I abandon myself or tolerate anything. No, it means I relate with more presence and discernment. So when conflict arises, because it always does, IFS gives you the tools to stay grounded in your system while leading with compassion. So instead of reacting and being triggered and leading from our triggers, we start to ask ourselves, what part of them is speaking right now? What part of me is reacting? And this is how intimacy deepens. This is how we break cycles. Another core area of our life that IFS benefits is in business and work and leadership. IFS has radically changed the way I show up in my business and the way I relate to it. Entrepreneurship will bring every part of you to the surface to be witnessed and healed. For many sensitive, spiritual entrepreneurs, our business is the vehicle of our deepest life transformation. So that part that wants to launch the offer and the other one that's terrified. The part that says, be bold, go big. And the one that whispers, but what if I fuck it up? The part that wants it now and the part learning to wait. IFS helps you hold all of that. Not by choosing one voice, but by listening to all of them from self. It teaches you how to take the bold steps required and how to be patient when things take longer than your nervous system would like. It helps you make decisions not from fear, not from urgency, but from alignment and intentionality. And another core area is IFS shifts how we relate to our body and our health. And for many, many of us, our relationship with our body is layered with parts. The controller, the critic, the one who is ashamed, the one who numbs out, the one who over pushes. IFS invites us to ask, what part of me is relating to my body? What is this symptom trying to protect me from? And can I be with this pain, this fatigue, this craving with love? When we stop trying to fight our body and start relating to the parts that are trying to manage it, it softens and we get to relate to ourselves in a more compassionate way. This is how our health journey becomes a relationship, not a performance. So yes, IFS is powerful for trauma, but it's also powerful in your day-to-day life, your leadership, your relationships, your relationship to your body and to trust in yourself. If you're done with spiraling in old patterns, if you're done trying to mindset your way out of deep inner tension, if you're ready to stop fixing yourself and start relating, if you're ready to up level in your health, wealth, relationships, IFS will change your life. Subscribe if this speaks to you. I share weekly videos that bring the depth of this work into real life. business, relationships, purpose, present. And if you've had an aha moment while watching this, please drop a comment and tell me, what pattern are you ready to shift from the inside out? Thank you for being here. See you soon.